Good evening and welcome to the FirstGlance Film Festival in Hollywood. It's April 21st, 2012, and we are so excited to be here tonight, where I am joined by the directors of How I Became an Elephant, Mr. Tim Gorski and Mr. Synthian Sharp.
Hi,
Good
Brian.
evening.
Good to meet you.
Thanks
Am I
for
supposed to take this from you?
How are you guys doing? This was an amazing screening tonight.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, you guys really, it was, I missed a little bit of the first part of it, but I've seen it before, and I just thought, gosh, really, really outstanding work.
Thanks. We had a great crowd. It's a good festival.
This is your first screening.
This is our official premiere.
Official
premiere here on the West Coast, and we did one today also on the East Coast, the same day. Yeah.
Great. How did you organize the whole thing with Lek? How did you find her? What was that process like?
Lek and I met randomly about 7 years ago in Thailand. I was there on holiday and ended up basically bumping into her pretty much on the street. And we got to know each other a little bit, and she was telling me about what she was doing. And of course, I was already doing animal work and animal films. And I ended up spending quite a bit of time with her over the next few years and decided that I wanted to do something about elephants, a project on elephants. And then, of course, met Juliet and tied everything together. And Georgia and Synthian came on board, and from there, we just rock and rolled and went through it. Yeah.
That's outstanding. Now, how long were you shooting in Thailand?
That would be a him question.
Yeah, that would be a me question. Off and on for over 4 years. Off and on. But
Really?
yeah. So some of the footage in the film is almost 4 years old. Actually 5 years old now. Yeah.
Wow.
In order to actually capture each instance of the treatments, the food, the abuses in the raw, it takes time, especially like you notice in the film, some of the footage is highly, highly illegal. The illegal logging sequences that took place in Burma, that's not something that you come across on a weekend on accident. That takes planning. That's commitment, and there's a ramp up to getting that kind of footage.
I was wondering about that footage in particular. So all of that is footage that you guys actually took yourselves?
Not all of it, but most of it. Yeah, there are quite a few shots in there that Lek shot herself over the years. I mean, she's been working obviously in Thailand for 3 decades or more now. A lot of the stuff that was shot in Burma was shot by myself or Lek or another of our cinematographers named Adam, who's over there working right now. Actually, yeah.
There are a lot of treatments of the animals that the elephant industry doesn't want videotaped, and so subsequently when he says there's archival footage that was shot by prior videographers, those are also activists in a long lineage of activists that we've learned from that were there at the time that just want that footage that's really, really rare footage, such as the crush box footage. Nobody can get crush box footage. You can arm them to the teeth with money and time, and that industry knows what frames they need to keep off of the air, and they will do anything to keep cameras out. And so having had our predecessors obtain that is something we kind of have an obligation to use.
Lek is one of the few people that can go into Burma fairly freely with a video camera and shoot stuff like that. Yeah.
It's pretty amazing. So do you imagine this film will just have an impact in the United States about raising awareness for elephants, or do you think other nations or the whole world will have this will raise the global consciousness for everybody about the mistreatment of elephants?
It's already happening. We've got people asking for the film all over the world. I get emails, and Synthian gets emails from. In fact, Melbourne. I think we're going to be showing in the Melbourne Film Festival in Australia. We've gotten a lot of support out of Australia, actually. I'm right now talking to the Bangkok Children's Festival in Thailand.
We've been approached by a Taiwanese distributor before any American distributors.
True, yeah.
They're gung ho, and you can. One of the things you do, like you said, this is a premiere, the official premiere. What you do before that is tests, and in tests, one of the things you can do is turn off the sound and see how universal it really is. We now know that our film is the definition of universal. People watch it without the sound on, and you'll see it. You'll see humanity. That's the only way to describe it, because the shocks, the gasps, and the laughs are at the exact same places.
This is true.
That's what makes it a visceral medium.
Well, I really was impressed with the level of footage that you were able to capture, and it really feels like no other media has ever, no other news source, no other outlet has captured such graphic images of the mistreatment of these animals.
I think some of them have, but they're very limited to what they show and what they can show on their networks. You know, I've seen National Geographic. I've been out in the field with National Geographic in Burma twice. So they're shooting it, but where they're showing it, no, it's sitting on a shelf somewhere in their offices because they won't dare show it for fear of ratings.
And one of the things that's implied in the film is really, in short, walk up to industry and slap it in the face. And that's a crime right now and in most parts of the world. You're saying you want to walk up to a profitable industry and say that this particular kind of profit is bad and more harmful for human beings than the jobs it creates. Yes, we are.
I think that's really the ultimate message of the film. I mean, or one of the tentpole messages that really comes through, that we all are not successful if the weakest or smallest among us, or in this case even the biggest, but are not protected, preserved.
That's what I love about the juxtaposition of Lek and an elephant. I mean, Lek is 4'11", and she's tiny, and she is one of the
huge woman. Huge.
One of the most powerful women in Asia right now, and she's brilliant. And,
She really is.
And so is Juliet. Juliet's another one.
She's also tiny, but
she was 13 when I met her. 13.
A go-getter.
And they're learning how big their ripples can be at a velocity that I'm not even sure either of them are ready for, but the button's been pushed. We're going. It's done.
I love it. Where can everybody at home catch the film next? Where are you headed?
We are headed to San Francisco next. Sausalito. Sausalito Film Festival is on the 12th.
Yeah. HowIBecameAnElephant.com under the screenings tab until the DVD release, and of course the DVD is going to have a lot of the American elephant stories. These are elephants that have come from Burma and Thailand and gone through their lives in Ringling Brothers, Circus Vargas, etc., in the LA Zoo. All of those things are going to be compiled into this one source, and really what Juliet wanted to do was create a digitally distributable weapon, something that can be thrown out inexpensively to everybody in the populace so that they can all grab each other's arms and say, no, wait, there are consequences to what you're doing right now. Here's what they are. It'll cost you very little of your life. You can have a 5-minute version on the disc. You can have a 20-minute version. You can, of examples of this ripple effect of what you're doing in that tourism industry. And hopefully, by having the disc exist, we'll have done a lot more than we currently know.
We're planning also on doing a limited release VOD, probably a 60-day release VOD, but we don't have a date on that yet. Again, HowIBecameAnElephant.com, and sign up for our mailing list, and we'll keep you guys posted, for sure.
Excellent. Tim, Synthian, it's so wonderful to have you guys here tonight. Thank you for spending a little time with me on the red carpet, and much continued success in the near future.
Thanks.
Yes,
Great festival.
of course.
Love it.
Giving
Thank
it
you.
a voice.
Of course. Thank you.